So I'm not gonna take a lot of time because, I'm getting emotional. And I told myself I wasn't gonna do this. Nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever bring the energy, the charisma, the passion, the expertise, the talent, and whatever else you want to call it, like you seen Kelvin Hunter and my ex, Wendy Williams, and the team that was behind us. And I mean the whole team. That includes my current lady now.
After years of living what many people described as a double life, Kevin Hunter has reportedly walked away from Sharina Hudson. For a long time, their relationship appeared to be cushioned by the steady flow of money connected to Wendy Williams' success. But once the alimony payments reportedly slowed down and Wendy's career faced serious challenges, the lavish lifestyle that once surrounded Kevin and Sharina seemed much harder to maintain. Now, with circumstances shifting, the relationship that critics long labeled as transactional appears to have fallen apart. In a twist of fate, Wendy Williams may be the one getting the last laugh. More than 15 years ago, Sharina Hudson likely believed she had secured a life of comfort when she became involved with Kevin Hunter. At the time, Wendy Williams was rising rapidly in the entertainment world. Publicly, Kevin played the role of devoted husband and hands-on father. Privately, however, he was allegedly dividing his time between two households. While Wendy focused on building her media empire, Kevin was reportedly maintaining a separate life just a few miles away. For years, Sharina was said to enjoy the benefits of that arrangement. Luxury brunches, designer handbags, expensive cars, and upscale living were all reportedly funded by the wealth Wendy had worked tirelessly to earn. As long as the money continued flowing, the relationship seemed stable. But once financial pressure entered the picture, cracks began to show. To understand how things reached this point, it helps to look back at the beginning. Wendy met Kevin in 1994 at an ice skating rink. Their relationship moved quickly, and by 1999, they were married. However, according to Wendy's own admissions, in past interviews, the marriage was troubled early on. She openly described Kevin as unfaithful, claiming he cheated while they were dating, during their marriage, and even while she was on bed rest during her pregnancy. Despite the pain, Wendy stayed. At the time, her career was gaining momentum, and she has suggested that she did not want to disrupt her son's life while her professional world was expanding. The situation exploded publicly in 2017 when the Daily Mail published a detailed investigation alleging that Kevin had been living a double life for nearly a decade. The report claimed he was not simply having an affair, but was actively managing two separate homes. According to those allegations, Kevin spent several days each week at Sharina's suburban residence. They reportedly worked out together, dined out, and maintained what looked like a committed relationship. Yet in public, Kevin was said to avoid displays of affection and even introduced Sharina as his sister to avoid suspicion. Reports also claimed he would switch vehicles to avoid being recognized and allegedly traveled with Sharina under the pretense of business trips. While Sharina's family reportedly hoped for commitment and a long-term future, critics believed Kevin was making promises he never intended to fully honor. Throughout this period, Wendy's career was flourishing. When she launched The Wendy Williams Show in 2008, her bold, unfiltered style quickly attracted millions of viewers. Known for confrontational celebrity interviews and candid discussions about relationships and personal struggles, Wendy became one of daytime television's most recognizable personalities. Her success extended beyond television. She competed on Dancing with the Stars, appeared in the Broadway musical Chicago in 2013, and authored several books. Meanwhile, Kevin benefited professionally as well, serving as an executive producer on projects connected to Wendy's brand. When rumors of Kevin's alleged long-term affair resurfaced and spread across the internet, Wendy initially denied them on her show. She stood by her husband publicly, insisting she supported him despite the speculation. Today, however, the dynamic appears very different. With Wendy's career facing health-related pauses and financial structures changing, the foundation that once supported Kevin and Sharina's relationship seems weaker than ever. If their bond was strengthened by wealth and secrecy, those elements no longer carry the same power. In the end, what once looked like a carefully balanced double life has unraveled. And while Wendy has faced her own personal and professional battles, the collapse of the relationship that once thrived in the shadows suggests that circumstances have shifted in unexpected ways.
Sort of weird story going around the internet regarding my husband. Now look, I'm a straight shooter, pow pow. All you gotta do is Google him and you see the story. You can believe what you want, but okay, I stand by my guy.
Wendy later spoke openly about her battle with Graves' disease, an autoimmune disorder that affects the thyroid. She explained how the condition impacted her energy levels, weight, and even her eyes, sometimes causing noticeable bulging due to pressure behind them. During interviews, she praised Kevin for standing beside her through doctor visits and difficult days, presenting him as a supportive partner while she navigated serious health challenges. At the same time, Wendy was confronting another long-standing struggle. She had dealt with alcohol and substance addiction for decades, something she admitted had deeply affected her physical health, mental well-being, career, and personal relationships. Determined to regain control, she entered a drug rehabilitation program where she received structured care and support from addiction specialists. Although she made genuine efforts toward recovery, temptation and stress repeatedly threatened her progress. After experiencing relapse, she once again sought professional help, acknowledging that recovery is often a complicated, ongoing process rather than a single victory. In 2018, Wendy publicly confirmed her diagnosis of Graves' disease, clarifying when in 2018, Wendy publicly confirmed her diagnosis of Graves' disease. Confusion about her symptoms and urging viewers to take their own health seriously. However, that same year brought further strain to her marriage when Sharina gave birth to a child. Despite Wendy's continued public defense of Kevin amid persistent rumors of infidelity, it became increasingly clear that the pressure was mounting. She was attempting to protect her marriage while simultaneously battling addiction and chronic illness. Kevin reportedly made gestures to repair the relationship, including upgrading Wendy's customized diamond-encrusted Frank Muller watch, in what many saw as an attempt to smooth things over. But the damage appeared irreversible. In 2019, Wendy filed for divorce. What followed was a highly publicized legal battle centered on finances. Reports claimed Kevin received a substantial settlement while Wendy faced a far more personal fight. That same year, she candidly revealed she'd been living in a sober house, describing herself as a functioning addict. Through her family foundation, she also launched a hotline aimed at helping others struggling with addiction, turning her personal challenges into advocacy.
I have to tell you, you know I've been dealing with issues with addiction, alcoholism, and I have a whole new life that I planned for myself and my son.
However, the pandemic years proved especially devastating for Wendy Williams. Reports emerged that she was found unresponsive in her New York apartment and rushed to the hospital, where she required emergency treatment, including blood transfusions. Not long after, an even more alarming diagnosis became public. Wendy had been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia and primary progressive aphasia, two neurological conditions associated with cognitive decline, speech impairment, and behavioral changes. Court documents later revealed that she was battling early-onset dementia. According to medical evaluations referenced in filings, years of alcohol abuse may have contributed to lasting neurological damage. As her health deteriorated, the impact began to show in her professional life. Viewers who had long admired her sharp wit and commanding on-air presence began noticing troubling shifts. There were moments of visible confusion, emotional breakdowns, and unfiltered commentary that sparked concern rather than entertainment. By 2022, Wendy officially stepped away from television. Her once dominant daytime platform came to an end, and her family significantly reduced her public appearances in order to protect her well-being. That same year, in May 2022, a court-ordered guardianship was established to oversee her finances and personal affairs. With that legal change, the monthly alimony payments to Kevin Hunter reportedly stopped. Kevin soon returned to court, seeking what he claimed were 23 months of unpaid spousal support. He argued that the payments were cut off before the guardianship was formally in place and insisted he was entitled to the outstanding amount. However, the legal situation grew more complicated when Wendy's longtime friend, Regina Schell, submitted an affidavit in a New Jersey court. In her statement, Shell claimed that in 2022 she observed Wendy's cumulative bank balances at Wells Fargo totaling approximately $55 million. She also alleged that Wendy had considered changing financial institutions and met with representatives from Bank of America later that year. Kevin cited Shell's affidavit in his filings, alleging that tens of millions of dollars had been concealed during divorce proceedings. Wendy's court-appointed guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, strongly disputed those claims, pushing back against both the affidavit and Kevin's financial accusations. Meanwhile, Kevin's own financial stability appeared shaky. Since the divorce, he launched several business ventures that reportedly failed to generate significant success. In July 2023, he was sued over an unpaid $20,000 credit card bill. Reports also indicated he sold 2 luxury vehicles to a lending company. In October 2023, he sold his $1.2 million Florida home, a property that had allegedly accumulated unpaid homeowners association fees. Online speculation suggested he was facing mounting financial pressure and possibly child support obligations. As Kevin continued to pursue legal action, public reaction online was swift and harsh. Many critics accused him of attempting a money grab, arguing that Wendy's declining health should have shifted the focus away from finances. Social media users questioned why his filings appeared centered solely on payment disputes rather than concern for her dementia diagnosis or long history of addiction struggles. Observers pointed out that throughout the court battle, Kevin's arguments consistently emphasized financial entitlement. To many fans, that pattern reinforced the belief that the dispute was less about fairness and more about securing continued financial support from a woman now under guardianship. Regardless of public opinion, the contrast is stark. Wendy, once a commanding force in daytime television, is now fighting profound health challenges. Kevin, who for years benefited from her success, is fighting in court for additional payments from the estate of someone no longer able to manage her own affairs. Whether one views his legal pursuit as a contractual right or an insensitive move during a vulnerable chapter in Wendy's life, the optics are difficult to ignore. After years of headlines about betrayal, secret households, and divorce settlements, the story has shifted to health battles and guardianship oversight. At the center of it all remains Wendy's legacy. She builds an empire through bold commentary, relentless work ethic, and unapologetic authenticity. While the legal disputes continue, one reality stands clear. The spotlight that once defined her life has dimmed, replaced by courtrooms and medical updates. And as the public watches the latest chapter unfold, many are left wondering whether this is justice playing out or simply another painful extension of a very public saga.